4 will be Jim Chisholm, your current USRA national points leader out of Osage, Iowa, the 24C. He'll be flanked by the Fort Scott Flyer, Andy Bryant in the 28B. Gabriel Hodges of the 7G and Tyler Kidwell at car number 54 make up row number 5. Shadron Turner in the 56 and Zach Brom in the 43 make up row number 6. John Potter the 6, Terry Schultz the 7B. Parker Hale and Jeremiah Reed in row number 8. Dom Mueller, Jeremy Chambers, row 9. Cadwallader and Whitman, row 10. Cantwell, Kay in row 11, and Hassler and Ledford in your final row.
Easy D, Dan Hovden, currently second in the national point standings with 16 wins on the season. He will slow them through turns 3 and 4. Once he sees that orange cone, he will step down and make some noise as we're back underway. A-main number 2 from Wheatland. Dan Hovden, with his 16 wins, last year finished 5th in the national point standings. He is trying to knife into the lead that Jim Chisholm has, but he's got heavy action behind him. F1, that is Mitchell Franklin from Camdenton. He's a regular here at Lucas Oil Speedway. He picked up his first win of the season just a couple of weeks ago at Midway Speedway, and the caution will come out as the 7G gets turned around. That is the gas man, Gabriel Hodges, out of Lebo, Kansas. So the first caution rolls over in turn number 2 as Gabe Hodges flips it around, pointed the wrong direction. Gabe with a win at 81 Speedway. That came a few weeks ago as well. Typically runs over at Hummer. Only the second year racing. He just got his start a couple of years ago. This is a big stage for him, for the youngster, coming into the national setting with some of the top drivers in the Midwest.
Dan Hovden under attack, car number 16, current race leader. Mitchell Franklin right behind him, the F1, the Dove Darling out of Camdenton, Missouri. I thought maybe they called him the Tornado. That's why he's the F1, but he's second.
You know, I'm not going to say I have a man crush on anybody, but they call him the Dove Darling for a reason. He's a good-looking young man. The ditch digger, Kenny Carroll, who is a long lifetime friend of his, called him the Dove Darling. He didn't want it to stick. We couldn't let it go. We just had to keep calling him that. I think it bugs him just a little bit.
The Tornado. The 72 car, Alex Schuby in the 3rd spot. Then it's Eric Turner in the MAP TV 99T, and Jason Bass has rebounded from really an awful night last night in the 4 car. Rebounded. He is in the top 5 in a 2018 Rage, and they went to work last night and definitely paying dividends right now in the top 5. As the lights go down, Dan Hovden will bring him to green.
Has the front row all to his own. Mitchell Franklin, who is running second, decides to go to the inside, has Alex Schuby to his right-hand side, and we're going to keep an eye on that MAV TV number 99 of Eric Turner. On night 1, had a great run, but got DQ'd over the eBay Motors Tech Shack. He was able to get back out on the track for the B feature, qualify for the A, and had a great run through the field. Maybe out to prove something tonight as he starts up in the top 5 on the night, and he's already up to 4th.
Dan Hovden across the line. He'll be your leader on lap number 2. Mitchell Franklin to the bottom side. Jason Bass is on a rail to the top of the racetrack up at turn number 2. He is into the top 3 and making tracks along the top side of the racetrack. Hovden, somebody must have showed him the quick line is on the top because he moved up as well. Franklin back to the inside groove in turns 1 and 2.
Jason Bass is in that number 4 out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. He pulls right up on the back bumper of Mitchell Franklin, back behind him by 0.2 seconds now. How big of a win would this be for him? He has won this year, but it came in a sports mod. Not quite the power that these B mods had. Over at Shelby County is where he picked up the victory. He's going to try to get a run off of turn 2, but Mitchell Franklin has been able to stay out in front of him for the time being.
Easy D making it look easy, pressing the easy button off of turn 4. Your leader on lap number 5, Mitchell Franklin in second. Jason Bass, Schuby, and Tyler Kidwell's now cracked the top 5 at car number 54. Turner outside looking in. Here comes Swift, Cole Suko in car number 75, and that is a big bonsai slide job for 6th.
Off off of turn number 2. Eric Turner has now fallen outside the top 5. He's under attack. Andy Bryant there in the 28. Kind of a redemption night for him as well. The Fort Scott Flyer last night led 18 laps, as this is a battle now for 6. We talked about Eric Turner, a dead heat with Suko. 4 wide exiting turn number 4. Andy Bryant led 18 laps. Looked as though he was on his way to a feature win at the Nationals, but J.C. Morton got him caught up in lap traffic, took advantage, grabbed the lead, and he motored to the win instead. Andy Bryant is a national champion as well. He was the youngest one to do it at the age of only 15.
Wow. They'll race around. A great shot. Camera work on point as always. Off a 2 down the back straightaway. That is a shot of 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Jason Bass in the 4. Then Shuby in the 72 and Kidwell in the 5th spot. And the 75 and Cole Suko going to the bottom of the racetrack on your screen. Another slide job, and he'll take 5th.
Power move there by Tyler Kidwell to get around Andy Bryant. And now you see the flicker of the yellow and the guilty party this time up on the top of turn number 4. That is the 1 double B of Matthew K., the young gun out of Chinook, Kansas. 1 lap away from getting to the midway point of this 20-lap feature. And the Chinook, Kansas native with 2 wins on the season. Longhorn chassis and the UFO Motorsports brings out our caution 9 laps in. Dan Hovden started to pull away. Can he continue to do so? We'll find out, as this is the 8th annual USRA Nationals from here on MAV TV. Field is stacked and packed, lined up behind Dan Hovden. Shane Freeby, Ryan Bergerson back with you here from the Diamond of Dirt tracks. We've seen a great race so far, Ryan. Dan Hovden hasn't really had too many people knocking on the back door trying to get around him, but now that they are packed up right behind him, could be the time for someone to capitalize as they come back to life again. Step down on the loud pedal, and Dan Hovden shoots out of it like a cannon off of turn 4, but Mitchell Franklin able to hang with him on the high side.
Tyler Kidwell gets the slide on Jason Bass and crowds him against the top line of the racetrack, and Kidwell now 3rd. That'll shuffle Jason Bass at least back 2 spots, as Shuby's going to chop the nose on the 4 car as well.
So Mitchell Franklin, that's a Franklin chassis. He and his dad build these, and he doesn't build them just for him. He builds them for a handful of drivers. They put together some of the safest equipment. I have seen some cars take some massive hits and drivers come out unscathed. That's what he pilots. He's got a Rubel power plant underneath the hood. Chris Jackson drove one of those Rubel engines to a victory earlier tonight. Mitchell Franklin would like to do the same thing. That's your current point leader in the 24C, Jim Chisholm out of Osage, Iowa. He leads by 96 points. He's collected 22 victories. He's just a youngster, but he has now last year won the championship. He's trying to repeat for the 2nd year in a row.
And he is the only car in the top 5 that's on the bottom. Everybody else glued to the top rail of the racetrack. Cole Suko in that 75 is having one of the better runs. This is probably a career run right now, is in the top 4. He has won before, but right now out on top, or out in the 4 spot in the top 4 would be a great feat for the youngster, as Jim Chisholm continues to try to chisel on the bottom of the racetrack. Right now racing for Bass for 5th.
Battle for 3rd between Tyler Kidwell and Suko. As you mentioned, he had been moving through the field extremely well. Swift, they call him, out of Cresco, Iowa, 3-time winner. He won at Chateau, also won at Rapid. It's an action engine for Swift Cole Suko. But Tyler Kidwell has found his way around him. Tyler, we used to call him the Kid, can't really anymore. He totaled his car earlier on in the year. That's now a 2021 GRT chassis, and Andy Bryant now has gone down to the inside. He's trying to follow Eric Turner's now. They both go back to the top shelf. They're following the Kid around, who's running extremely well and marching towards the front.
16 down. Dan Hovden has led all circuits thus far. The driver out of Decorah, Iowa, Easy D they call him. He's got 3 to go. Mitchell Franklin, though, seems to be closing in. It was 1.43 last time. He cuts off 1/10 of a second this time.
The choo-choo train on the high side is making waves. As Chisholm now gets involved, he's going to go to the high side over in turn number 1. He has some issues as Dan Hovden, a 1.3 second lead with 2 to go, takes the field over into turns 1 and 2. He leads Mitchell Franklin, then a huge gap, another 2.8 seconds back to Tyler Kidwell.
Dan Hovden pound the top cushion as the white flag flies high. 1 to go for Easy D.
So Easy D has had an easy go of it. He led every single lap in this one out of Decorah, Iowa. He talked about it earlier on in the week. He had a tough time making the center turn off here at Lucas Oil Speedway. Has no issue here tonight. He will win A main number 2 for the B-Mods here at the Nationals. Dan Hovden, a 1-second win over Mitchell Franklin. Tyler Kidwell rounds out your podium, but for Dan Hovden, he will pick up his 17th win. He had won 5 straight earlier on, and he picks up a big one here on night 2.
Mitchell Franklin second, Tyler Kidwell, Cole Suko, Alex Schuby your top 5. Then on the rundown, you got Turner, Bryant, Turner, Schultz, and Potter, the top 10. Then on back, you got Chambers, Cadwallader, Jason Bass, backslides to the 13th spot. Brom and Hassler, the top 15. Jeremiah Reed, Ledford and Cantwell, the top 20. And we finished with 21 cars out of 24 after 20 laps were finished. And Dan Hovden picks up the win in B-Mod A main number 2.
Easy D will try to make his way across the scales. Once he does, he'll head back out to Victory Lane on the front stretch. That's where we'll hear from him next, here from the Diamond of Dirt tracks in Wheatland. Okay, so Chris Jackson first. Dan Hovden makes his way to Wheatland, Missouri on night number 2 of the Summit USRA Nationals, and he wins in a big way. Started on the pole, leads every single lap, and he will cruise into Victory Lane, picking up the win as he climbs out. He is victorious on the season. He continues to be on a tear as he wins here in Wheatland. Easy D, second in the USRA points, and could move up a couple of positions as well point-wise, as Jim Chisholm has some trouble here tonight, and Dan Hovden will make his way up. The third member of our broadcast team. Let's send it back down to Doug Neff.
We are down here in Victory Lane, and Dan Hovden, the Decorah, Iowa native, your winner in the second race here. It is an incredible job. You guys putting on a whale of a show in these B-Mods.
Yeah, this place is awesome. I mean, last night couldn't have gone much worse. Wasn't even fast enough to make the A feature. Did a bunch of tuning, and just can't thank Mike Striegel enough for the hospitality and everything he's done. And just appreciate everything.
Great job. I know it's a long trip down here, but makes it worth it when you end up in Victory Lane here tonight.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you.
Great job, Dan Hovden. Decorah, Iowa, your winner in the B-Mod. Back up to you.
He just keeps adding to his career win total. Now make it 133 for Easy D.